Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel for this week's plan with me. I really like how last week ended up looking, and so I'm just going to go through and finalize the week. So for this week's wins, I jot down that I worked really hard because boy did I. I finally submitted a credit card payment that had been behind because of the cat stuff and not being able to get into the serving job as quickly as I hoped. Things got really out of control, but I finally got caught up with that. And I also met my publisher for the first time, who I've worked with for 7 or 8 years. It's been a while. It was before I moved to California, and I've lived here a long time. So that was really exciting. And next week, I want to make sure to have a business meeting with Lex and do some restorative yoga and find more balance in my day-to-day. A lot of the goals that I set at the beginning of the year kind of went out the window because I've had such a stressful couple of months, but I'm doing my best to really get back to them and stay focused on them. And I think this planner is really helping me do that, because it would be so overwhelming to try to remember all of the goals and all of the details of those goals if I hadn't already spelled it out in my big planner setup video. So now I can just look at my goals, look at my lists in the back of ideas for rewards and fun times and self-care and all of that, and just fill it in without having to do too much mental gymnastics to figure that stuff out. So for this week, my main goal is to work on catching up. I want to buy myself a nice supportive pair of slippers. If I do that, I've been working long hours on my feet. The new serving job I have, it's like a full-time job. It's 4 to 5 days a week and about 8-hour shifts. So it's intense because it's on your feet and exhausting. So that's the reward I want to get myself. My goal is to catch up mostly with the podcast, which is why I did it in purple. So I put the episodes that I wanted to edit, and then I need to do the music edit and record and upload and plan the social media for those episodes. We decided not to record this week. Again, it's just been too much, and we're going to get back to it, but we needed the time and space. For my writing, I need to finish and edit. I need to listen to a podcast and schedule a podcast with an author that I worked with. I also need to draft a contract for a new client, respond to them, and do first looks at their material. For YouTube, I have a couple videos to edit. I have many videos to record, voiceover, upload, and finalize all of those. Things have been getting very behind, so I'm hoping to be able to find time this week to get to work on all of that stuff again. Moving on to my personal to-do list, I wanted to get some gifts for the girls that I was nannying. I need to return the crate that I borrowed because I thought I might need it for Mulder. He ended up not needing it, but we thought it might be a good idea to have that just in case. And for me time, I wanted to do some restorative yoga. I want to plan a Disney trip because I got some free tickets. I want to listen to Flume, somebody recommended, and read my production book and clean my office area. The office area keeps getting postponed because I've realized what I really need to do is buy some organizational shelves and things like that, and can't really do that yet, but I'll get there. Just gotta save up some money first. And I do jot down my routine in the habits and skills section, but I end up just crossing that off and doing that for the next couple of weeks. I decided to just let myself off the hook for that stuff for now until I get caught up and can breathe. That's part of me finding the balance, because I don't want to burn out and then lose my motivation to do these things. Like the yoga is a big goal of mine, but I've been working really long hours and my body's still adjusting, and I don't want to get discouraged about it and officially quit yoga. So I'm just letting myself off the hook so that I'll restart when I'm feeling more centered. So I start by putting down these arrows and little coffee cups on top of them to jot down my work shifts as a server. So I am working Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now things are still a little up in the air with my cat. He should be all good. He's supposed to get his sutures out tomorrow, which this is like 2 weeks after I recorded this. But at this point, on a Thursday night, our cat had his bladder rupture and we had to take him to the emergency vet and give him an emergency surgery. And it was very emotional, very upsetting, because we really thought we were going to lose him for a second. And he's a pretty young cat, and we just were not at all prepared for having to make calls like this. But I ended up canceling my nannying that I jot down for Friday, because even though it ended up being a happy ending, we didn't know that at the time the night before, and I knew that I would just kind of need some space and some time to relax. On Monday, I had scheduled a 3 p.m. grocery pickup, so I put this little circle layered with a grocery bag. I also wanted to record my plan with me that evening and do some cooking. I wanted to make pumpkin balls, some chili, and do smoothie prep, which I'm really glad I did. I haven't been able to make them early in the morning because Lex and I have been sleeping in separate areas because we want to keep Mulder secluded, and we don't trust Ron not to be like picking fights with him, and then we don't want Ron to be alone, so otherwise Ron would be upset and scratching at the door and stuff. So we've just been sleeping in separate rooms to take care of the cats. And so he's in the room with the kitchen in the morning. So no smoothies for me, but I'm really glad that I made those. And it's going to be really key for staying healthy and staying energized when I'm working really long days like Tuesday, for example, which is a day when I started work at 7 a.m., worked until 3:30, and then went straight to my next job, nannying until 8:15. So they're really long days. I did that again on Thursday, and I was exhausted. So it's not as bad as it could be, because the nannying in the evening is pretty relaxed, and it's the first hour of it is just me driving between the kids' schools, and then we have dinner and take a shower and get ready for bed and watch a little bit of a show. So it's nothing too stressful, fortunately. So on Wednesday, the plan was to record the podcast and finish up my batch cooking. That didn't end up happening. Everything was just too stressful. But Wednesday, my plan was to do all of my work to-dos, get a little caught up on things, and just make the most of my day off. So on Friday, I had also wanted to return the crate, but because that nannying job got canceled, I didn't end up returning it. They actually live near each other, the person who lent me the crate and the kids that I was going to nanny. So I was trying to get it all organized, but it didn't work out. So that is it for that week, but I do quickly want to jump back and do my monthly review, because that is one of my big goals this year, is to make sure I'm doing all of the reviews and using that to stay on top of all of my goals. So first I go through my monthly goal checklist and mark down the items that I did complete and migrate the ones that I didn't. So I didn't sort out my insurance, and I didn't have a budget meeting for my business. The budget meeting is probably going to have to wait until our finances just settled down, because right now we're just in survival mode, still having to pay for cat stuff and all that jazz. So here I'm just flipping through the other planner I've been using this year, which is a daily planner. This is another thing that went by the wayside once I got too overwhelmed, but I'm excited to go back into it. I think it's been working out really well. I'm just using the productivity sticker books from the Happy Planner, and it looks adorable. So for the monthly review, the first question is, what were the biggest wins? For me, I think that the biggest win was just that I've been taking care of myself as much as possible, even when things got really scary. And I also found a new source of income, which was very important. For the biggest lessons learned, I learned how to stretch my food budget. I was able to stay under budget this month, which was great. And I also learned how important my emergency fund is going into the future. I really need to stash away not just $1,000, but as much as possible, because my car is on the fritz and you never know what's going to happen with pets or emergencies or anything. So that is important. I also got really good at setting boundaries this month and knowing when I need space and when I don't. And I think that's pretty great. So I start going through doing my life circle. I start with health and fitness. I was mostly vegan and doing yoga until everything got crazy. So I put it at about 50% at a 6 rating, because it's not terrible, and I'm not too down on myself for falling off the wagon because I've been doing my best. Money, I put at the very bottom because money was horrible. It was a horrible, horrible month for money. Everything was very tight. For friends and family, I put it pretty low because I had to borrow money from some family, and that felt awful. And obviously I'll pay it back, but it felt awful. For my relationship, I felt really great about it because we did a good job of taking care of ourselves, taking care of each other, and being there for each other during a rough time. For fun, I went for a hike and blew off some steam with one of my friends. I also had time with a family member who came to visit, and I also just had fun watching mindless TV and not putting pressure on myself to watch something new or anything. I've been mainly binging seasons of The Bachelor, and you know what? It's been great. And for personal development, I put down that I'm just getting better at taking care of myself. The tasks that weren't accomplished this month were getting my insurance sorted out, doing my self-care hour every week, doing all of my vegan eating, and my weekly cleaning. And it was really just about being overwhelmed and figuring out how to juggle my different jobs. I'm still pretty burnt out. I think once I start eating healthier again, I will start getting some of my energy back to do the weekly cleaning and stay on top of all of my other to-dos. So that's the first goal, and I've been getting back to it now, which is great. I think I did great considering how rough my month was in terms of making progress. I look forward to gaining back some stability and routine and getting back to my goals. And I want to make sure to actually reward myself when I reach my goals and to make sure I do my self-care routine. Those are some of my goals going in to next month. And I didn't want to put down something I wanted to improve because I wanted to give myself the space to get back on track. So that is it for my monthly review. Let me know how your goals are going, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.